Shabbos ayoy Hashem. Agud Voch Raboisai. Leilu nishmasi mirosi rusus monachai. Hayoim echol shlishim yoim shimarbo shavois ushlisho yomim ba'omer lo'imer. Welcome to all the guests. Shalom aleichem. Wie heißt der? Noch einmal. Heimen. Menachem Heimen. Project, the Devorah project. The Shkoyach, a ganze set. We're gonna have to build a new base measures. Huh? Yeah, we have some shelves. Shalom aleichem. Again, you're old. The Kessler. Who else do we have here? You're new. What's the last name? Arnold from? From Shalom aleichem. Welcome. Who else? Oh, what's your name? I know you're a Hollander. What's your first name? So also from Shemesh, from this block. Shalom aleichem. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, Gewaldik. So, who? Hi, Shalom aleichem. What are you doing here? That's Shleimah Rosenberg's son, Gewaldik. Huh? Oh, Benny, there's no more meat back. Shleimah Rosenberg's son, unbelievable. So, if Shleimah Rosenberg's, I can't talk about Shleimah because he's very benister, but there's a guy here whose father, I'm not going to mention his name, who gives over basically 2-3 hours a day, below Guzma, even though he runs a very successful company, 2-3 hours a day, he's Be'ilam Shem. And send regards to your father, your shkoyach. Rav Eli, he's one of the most one of the most important people in MDY. He fields hundreds of emails a week. He ships out all the Gemaras. He does all the tech, a lot of stuff behind the scene. Hi, Rav Eli. How are you? Don't worry, even though I haven't been around, I'm still daffing. I'm a few daf back, but all good. I'm very much enjoying Masechta Sotah. He's been a few daf back since brachas, basically. I now work for an American nursing home company that opened an office in RBS, and in my office there are quite a few MD wires, including the one and only Moshe Hirsch of our Hamerkaz, who's with us here tonight. Shalom aleichem, Moshe, shkoyach for all you do, and also the Kahoot. You're very involved with the Kahoot as well. I got to show you guys the Kahoot. I don't have it here, but I just tried it for the first time basically the other day. It's a lot of fun. It's like it gives you the question, and the quicker you answer. First, it tells you if you're right or wrong, and the quicker you answer, the higher you score. And then it shows you all the other people that took the test and where you are compared to them in terms of the score. It's not only getting the answers right, but also quick. It's like a game. You're playing against each other, including, please see attached picture, the most recent recruit that I hooked, my boy, Shmuel Moore, doing the daf during his dinner break. Hope to see you soon, Izzy Ben Zaken. In Israel, people that work American hours, so they have dinner breaks, not lunch breaks. I have a couple of very long ones. I'm not going to read all of them and all of it. Freilich Pesach Sheni. I don't know if you understand the amount of gratitude and million thanks to MDY. Two very similar situations here, so I'm going to read both of them quickly. So, assisting me in the opportunity to learn Torah and Seigal Aviv. My situation has been an easy one, overcoming many obstacles, being off the derech for many years. Not going to yeshiva, teaching myself online Hebrew enough so I can daven and read Torah. Kitzer, Daf Yomi shir. I found out that my great-grandfather was from Vilna during the pogroms. Shmuel Garden, Levi. Kitzi's a Levi. My long road to make tshuva, redemption, to find out I'm a Levi, come from many Litvisher, Rabbeim, learning from age 46, Daf Yomi shir, irrelevant, Wishing you nothing but Simcha Nachas, my birthday. May you live to be 120 Mashiach in your days. Shkoyach, Yisrael, Levi, irrelevant, Bartlett, Baltimore. Shkoyach, George, Bariga. I think I know this person. I'm pretty sure he was here once. A short story about myself. I am a Bnei Anushim. I grew up in Ecuador. My father and mother have Jewish ancestors and converted from Judaism to Catholicism in Spain. Whatever, however you say it. He became a Catholic. How do you say it? Catholicism. Shkoyach. Baruch Hashem, I don't know how to say it. In Spain, in the 15th century, I've known my Sephardic roots since. I want to hear you say it. How do you say it? Whatever. But I've known my Sephardic roots since I was a child from my father. Now my daughter has something else to make fun of me. I was a child from my father, but I found out recently about my mother's side and started doing some genealogical research and stopping and trying to return paperwork Spanish door. Part of my return, I want to learn Torah and have much to catch up. I completed Masechtas Naz with you, my first Masechta Baruch Hashem. Now I'm Sotah, looking forward to the rest. Thank you for your passion. It's contagious. It's the energy. I also want to thank you for all you do, make it easy to learn Torah. As a small token of thank you, and because I hope the love of Torah reaches as many Jews as possible, I'm donating 10 Gemaras for the Gita Masechta. I wish I could do more. I just started a new company, but B'ezrat Hashem, more will come soon. George. I don't even know how to say it anymore. I forgot. Huh?
It's not George, it's Jorge.
Is it?
Yeah.
Jorge. Jorge. I'm learning a lot from this one email. Whew. And from this email, I'm going to learn even more. This is from Menachem Epstein, who's not here. He sits in that seat every day. He knows how to learn very, very well. So I like him a lot. He's a great guy. So I'm going to read a lot of what he says. This email is the shortened version. I'm not joking. The shortened version. Let me show you this email, the shortened version. It's 2 pages long, and this is the short version. Okay. On Monday last week, you posed the question, why is it that when people dive and they often elongate words and make odd facial expressions? Did I ask that question about the odd facial expressions? I spoke about the words. Fine. Maybe it was muchach from what I said. Tefillah is a conversation with Hashem. And it's not the way of conversation to say things like, please, or make a strange facial expression. Rabbi Kiva's tefillah, Avinu Malkeinu, teaches us that sometimes we relate to Hashem as our father. Little children who are begging with their parents will often elongate words like please and make all kinds of curious facial expressions. Therefore, we see that verbal communication can include elongated words and peculiar expressions. However, we can take things a step further. Tefillah is not merely communication with Hashem. While communication is one aspect of tefillah is also a practice whereby a simple Jew can mamshich shefa from the Elyonim to the Tachtoinim, speak into the existence of the kalim needed to receive shefa, be zoich to the gift of dveikus, experience the Or of Hashem, whatever, and much more. As a result of every mode of expression is not limited to communication. The movements and mannerism, Jews davening is spontaneous. Natural expression with different aspects of tefillah. Example, Rav Nachman teaches, based on the Zaya, that the hand gesture of being a simple yid made during davening, Miram is the deep soidus. What? Who did he zoom into? Huh? What's Danny Fine doing? What was he doing? Aha. He's doing a hand gesture, you see, because that's big soidus. People may also find it curious that people often repeat their prayers many times in many different ways. Why is one prayer enough? The words of tefillah, bekitzer, you want to hear more or not? Last, it's worthwhile to note that tefillah is itself a much deeper concept than one would know. Bekitzer, Rabbi Isai, daven as you wish. Don't worry about that guy that said that you shouldn't elongate. I didn't say you shouldn't. I just was asking the question, how do you elongate a word? Lamaisa, I hope that those who elongate words, every time they do it, I get into their brain and mess them up a shtickle. Resulted in a profound experience in all manner of emotion expressions, spontaneous motion, and curious forms of Devorah. Naturally, best, Menachem Epstein, Yusher Koyach. The Koilo, sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood, the Masechta. Eli Stefansky, Menachem Toporowitz, Menachem Toporowitz, Torah Rukim, Yeshua Doiv. Parasa Chodesh, Linishmas Chai Bas Yosef, Parasa Chodesh, Linishmas Zechrya ben Moshe, Parasa Chodesh, Refuah Shleimah. Rav Eli ben Zissel Devorah. And the Parnasa Yoim, Sholom and Esther, Leah, Tainsky, Leah Nishmas, פיגל Bas Tzvi Hirsch, שנפטרה, Tesvav Iyer, Tovshenayin Zayin. And the art of the month for complete Refuah for Chaim Tzvi ben Leah. Boys, today we're starting a brand new mission on Daf Yomi on the base on the bottom. And we're going to have a few days of a fascinating topic called Birkus Kehanim, Nisiyas Kapayim, Duchening, which is a mitzvah de'oraisa. It's a mitzvah de'oraisa to duchen. Which reminds me, we should make arrangements, Gary, to have a kohen for the next. We had a bunch of days in the past week or two with 50 people in the minyan and 0 kohanim. Maybe you could join us on 8 o'clock. I will pay. You got it. Donnie Fine, he's here. David used to be, he changed minyan just to help us out, but he's somewhere. I don't know where he is. Maybe until he comes. Can you do it? We pay. But meanwhile, I have a question for the Olam. First of all, my first question is, who here in this room was a chazan here in Israel for Shachris? Anybody? Nobody raising their hand. I want to see people raise their hand. Were you ever a chazan here for Shachris? So raise your hand. You a chazan? Okay. Question. If you were a chazan here in Israel during Shachris when there's Birkus Kahanim, did you answer Amen after the Kohen said, Yerech Hashem B'Yishmerecha? No. Who said yes? You said yes. Who else says yes? Yes. Do you want Rosh Koilo? No, you don't. You're a Kohen. The answer is that you could say Amen, and you probably should say Amen. It's weird. It's different. I'm just trying to shock Doyle, but you should. Rabbi Yisrael Fisher. Huh? The Chazan says Amen. Supposed to say. On the bracha not. On Yibberach Hashem Yishmerecha. What? Oh. What does the new Mishnah Berurah say? The English one? Doesn't talk about it. Okay. So that's question number one. Here's another question. Rabbi Say. If a person has like a broken shoulder, arm kind of thing going on, he's a kohen, and he can't really do this, is he allowed to duchen? Anybody? And you don't answer, you kohen don't answer. Not because of a mum, because he can't bring his hand up. He can only go like this, let's say. Is it ma'akiv or not ma'akiv? It's ma'akiv. Rabbi says it's ma'akiv. If you can't put your hands, it's called Nesias Kapayim. Nesias Kapayim means to put your hand out. If you can't do this, you can't duchen. What else? Here's a good one. I don't expect anybody to know this one, but here's a riddle. There's a minion, more than a minion, and suddenly a person walks into the shul, and because that one person walks into the shul, 10 kohanim from the tzibur go up and duchen. But without him, they wouldn't go up to duchen. What's the situation? So that we're going to see today. Anybody know? You know? Huh? Only guy inside the shul land. And then what happened? That's not bad. Not bad. That's the answer. Okay, so we'll get there. If there's only kohanim in the shul, let's say there's 12 kohanim in the shul, so the halacha is we're going to see 2 kohanim duchen, 10 kohanim listen. And if one Yisrael walks in, then all 12 kohanim duchen, and the one Yisrael listens. Very good, Rabbi Haber. Says the Mishnah, the Heilige Mishnah sponsored by official. I don't know anymore for who. It's already after the shloshim of our beloved friend Avi Mendelbaum. We'll do one last one for Avi. Kavod Avram Menashe ben Aaron Moshe. Zechrono Birkus Kehanim Keitzad. So basically we have a daf of many halachas, and the pasuk says, Daber el Aaron bel banav leimar koi sevarchu es bnei Yisrael emor lohem. Koi sevarchu. That's today's daf Amud. The whole Amud Aleph is all about those 2 words. We're going to learn 7 halachas from those 2 words. Koi sevarchu as bnei Yisrael emor lohem yivarach Hashem yishmerecha hiresh upon avelecha v'kinoi yisrael Hashem. I didn't put all the pesukim. Didn't fit. And then it says all the way to him, B'samu shmi al bnei Yisrael v'ani avarachem. You make a bracha to Klal Yisrael. This is a asay, a mitzvah asay, and I will bench Klal Yisrael. You do it, and my bracha will come on top of that after you do it. Birkus Kohanim Keitzad b'medina oimer oisa shalish brachos u'bamikdash bracha achas. Anywhere outside of the Beis Hamikdash, as we're familiar, Yivach Hashem Yishmerecha, Amen. Yarsh Hashem Panei V'Lach, Amen. In the Beis Hamikdash, there's no Amen. So if there's no Amen, they do it in one shot. Yivach Hashem Yishmerecha, Yashim Bracha Achas. Ba'Mikdash Oimer Es Hashem Kichsavai. Lamed Ches Amud Aleph. In the Beis Hamikdash, you say Shem Hashem Yud Kei Vav Kei B'Milua. But outside of the Beis Hamikdash, anywhere outside of the Beis Hamikdash, you say the lashon of Adnos. I'll say it one time, Adonai, but that's it, Adnos. not Yud Kei Vav Kei. Ba'medina kohanim noisim es yudeihen keneged kisveihen. So, here's the picture. In anywhere outside of the Beis Hamikdash, so the hands are in line with the shoulder. There's actually a red line there. Now, you're not supposed to go above your head. But in Beis Hamikdash, where you're saying Yud Kei Vav Kei, so therefore the Shem Hashem is on the hands could go above the head. There's a whole nida just in general, if you're allowed to even put your hands above your head in general, but some say that if you're wearing tefillin, they shouldn't go above your tefillin, it's not, and that's coming up right here. The Kohen Gadol who's wearing a tzitz, you can see here the tzitz, or here, this is what the tzitz looks like. Kodesh Lashem is machlokes actually how it looks like if the kodesh is above and the side, different shitas. But over here you can see the tzitz on his forehead, and he's not supposed to raise his hand above the tzitz. Now, here, this is a very interesting thing. If you check this out, this is how the hands of a kohen are supposed to be. I don't know if a lot of people know this. I think a lot of people think it goes like this, maybe. But the right thumb should be above the left thumb. And the reason is because you want to create 5 earways here. 5 ear spaces. So the thumbs going like this create the 5th. You have over here 1, 2, and the third one is in between the two thumbs. Okay? Is that how you do it, Rabbi Cohen?
5 or 6 different ways.
Now, we're going to learn today that you're not supposed to look at the Kohanim. Anybody know why you're not allowed to look at the Kohanim?
Go blind.
Why?
Shechina's there.
Anybody? You say Esach Hadas. Anybody else? If you say like Lai Bi Esach Hadas, raise your hand. Nobody. If you say like Dr. Factor because you're going to get blind because the Shechina is there, raise your hand. And if you don't know, don't raise your hand. So nobody's raising their hand. We have 3 people. Okay, you're wrong. There's no Shechina today, unfortunately.
The first time, you lose your left eye. You look the second time, you lose your right eye.
Make stuff up.
The third time. You can't look the third time because you're already blind.
Okay. The reason is, well, you might be slightly right. The reason is today, because of Hesach Hadas, you want to concentrate on the bracha and not look at what the Kohanim are doing. I'm Meiser Shahaya because I wasn't so familiar with this Mishnah Berurah. I knew that you don't really get blind. It's not so relevant to today. Although there are some who say that you shouldn't look at the Kohanim. This is the Mishnah Berurah brings. You shouldn't look at the Kohanim because Zecher to the Beis Hamikdash when they had the Shechina there and it could blind you. Today you don't have that. But every time I do look, I notice that a lot of people don't know what they're doing, especially young Kohanim. When the father is next to them, the Kohen can't look at his son, so he has no idea what to tell his son. They're going like this, they're going like this. Kohanim go like this. Is there any shita that says to go like this? Seriously, Rabbi Schoenberg. The Kohen I saw on Pesach was doing this. He was a Bacher Bar Mitzvah, he had no clue. I had to tell his father, take your son and teach him the halachas. But I shouldn't be looking anymore. You're allowed to peek during the bracha, you are allowed to look, but during Yivarach Hashem not. Okay. Let's see. Rabbi Yehuda argues and says Kohen Gadol can go above the tzitz. Shenemar Vayiso Aaron Es Yodav Elohim Vayivarachem. When did this happen? The first day that Aaron a Kohen became a Kohen, on the 8th day of the Miluim, which we'll see later is Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Then Aaron raised his hand. Vayisa Aaron Es Yodav Elohim Vayivarachem. Now, happens to be that we're lucky. We live in Eretz Yisrael, and most of the days we get to hear Birkas Kohanim. And I believe if I'm not mistaken, that it's based on the Talmidei Agra who came to Eretz Yisrael. The Sfardim also have the minhag to do Birkas Kohanim every day. And the reason why in Eretz Yisrael there's Birkas Kohanim is basically because the Talmidei Agra were here before most of the people, 250 years ago, and they came with the Minhagei Agra. So a lot of things in Eretz Yisrael are with Minhagei Agra. So even the Hasidim took on that minhag of doing Birkas Kohanim every day. So just to show you, here is what we're going to be learning now, not to confuse anybody. We can go over real quickly. 7 simple halachas, and they're said in a very simple way, with not a lot of, they're not lengthy halachas. First of all, Birkas Kohanim should be in Lashon Kodesh. Then we go to the purple. I'm going to go down. The Kohanim have to stand. Let's say there's a Kohen that Nebuch has to be in a wheelchair. He cannot duchen. Nesias Kapayim means literally to raise your hands, so that's Ma'akev. They have to raise their hands. It's Shema Mefoirash in the Beis HaMikdash. Nesias Kapayim is also for Gerim, Nashim, and Avadim. And Klal Yisrael has to face the Kohanim. They don't turn away from the Kohen. It's face to face. And the Kohen says it out loud. It doesn't mean scream, but it means loud enough that everybody could hear. It's not something they whisper. And that's, how do we know? We're very familiar with it, but it comes from our sugya here. Tana Rabbana. Like this language, Koi. Maybe in English. This is also a sugya that we did extensively the other days. Har, Grizim, Hareval. So on, in that pasuk, Eliahu levarchasam, Malal b'lashon kodesh, Avkam b'lashon kodesh. Rabbi Omer ain't tzarich. You don't need to come on to that. Now, if you remember, I just want to show you to remind everybody in Daf Gimel, we had the machlokes over there. The word kacha all there in the bottom, you learned 2 things from it. 1 thing from it, you did chazaras, you know what I'm talking about. But the word ka, he says, I can learn 2 things from it because all the v'amra ka yaseh. Once of amra ka yaseh. Ka is a tzivui. This is how it has to be. So he holds that the word ka is a tzivui. Achi yomi b'lashon hazeh. Say it like this in this language in Lashon HaKodesh. Tanya yidach another halacha. Ka yisevarchu ba'amida, like this. Atoyim ba'amida, in yeshiva, who said maybe you should sit? So we have a hekesh or a gzer shava that should be b'amida. You have to stand. Truth is, at the end of the day, where do I find that? This is not 100% accurate. This chart over here. I wrote Kaisavarchu as a remez, but at the end of the day, most of these limudim come from other psukim, but it's just a headline. The Gemara starts off with Kaisavarchu, so I went with it. And how do you know? So when you do the avodah Beis Hamikdash, you have to stand. You can't shecht sitting there. You can't do anything sitting there. You have to stand. So too, Birkas Kohanim is lam l'sharis. There was a guy was trying to make him from, so they brought him to Shul here in Eretz Yisrael. So he's after this davening's over, he's like, it was beautiful, beautiful. What's up with the ghost dance? He's like, okay. Tanya Yidach. Another halacha. Kaisav Baruchu b'nesius kapayim. You're saying that you have to have your hands stretched out. Maybe not. He raised his hands. Aaron a Kohen, when he became a Kohen Gadol, that first day he raised his hands. So too, Kohanim raise their hands, and it's ma'akev. If a Kohen cannot do it, he can't do it. And if he did Birkas Kohanim without doing it, nothing happened. You must have your hands raised. When did it happen? On Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and Aaron was a Kohen Gadol, and he was doing it for the tzibur. There's avodas tzibur, so maybe all Nesias Kapayim has to be in such a way. I've can't Kohen Gadol versus Chodesh, we don't have a Kohen Gadol. So there's no, I'm just laughing to myself. Shafsi sent me a video of the, what are they called again? The Shomranim, but what do we call them? The Karoim, the Kusim. They call themselves Shomranim. So Yeshiva Bacher was taking a video of them. He's kind of making chayzik a little bit. And the guy goes, I'm the highest. I'm the biggest one here. I'm the greatest over here. There's nobody bigger than me. What, you're the Kohen Gadol? Yeah, I'm the way he was saying it about himself, no? Like Begaiva. Yeah, I'm the biggest. And then some schnook comes over to him and says, it's like the big Kohen Gadol. That's the cover they gave him over there. Anyway, so they have a Kohen Gadol at Yom Hazeh, but we don't. Rabbi Nasan Omer Einin Tzorach. Harei Omer Hu Von of Kol HaYomim. So, once again, says Rabbi Nasan, we don't have to come on to Koisevaruchu. Hu Von of Kol HaYomim. Aaron, his sons, all forever. Makish Bon of Eloi, Mahu Ben Asir's Kapayim, just like Aaron HaKohen did Duchening, Avbana Ben Asir's Kapayim. Uchsiv Kol HaYomim. And it says forever. Vizkash Bracha L'Sheirus. And we make a hekesh between the avodah that kohanim do, and it's only kohanim, and we make a hekesh between a bracha and a sheirus. And Rashi says, since there's a hekesh here, so ein meshivim ala hekesh. Even if you have some question, well, it's only Aaron HaKohen, ein meshivim ala hekesh. There's no answering a hekesh. V'tanya yidach, koisevaruch is b'nei Yisrael another halacha. B'shem ha'mefayra, she's supposed to say yud kei vav kei. Maybe it should be Adnus. The special name. Maybe right outside the Beis Hamikdash. Also, you should use Yud Kei Vav Kei. Nemar Kam v'Samu Shmi v'Nemar La'alon Losum Eshmoi Sham. So let's see the pasuk here. Kimal Abagam Yishiv Chashem L'Gerim L'Chodesh L'Losum Eshmoi Sham. L'shichnoi sidrushu uvasa shama. You should seek out Hashem. L'shichnoi sidrushu uvasa shama. It's in a special place, only where you seek Him out. Not everywhere, not every shul. Where's that? Malam beis abchira, afkan beis abchira. In other words, in the Mishkan, in Shiloh, in the Beis Hamikdash. But that's it. That's where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. That's where we use the special name of Yud Kei Vav Kei. It says every place. Now it can't be every place. There's special places where you have you could be Masker Hashem. It can't be everywhere. There's something missing. Sham Asker Shmi. Where is this place? The Beis Abchira and the Mishkan and the Midbar and Shiloh. Now I know that you're doing Birkas Kahanim for Yidden. Oh, what happened? I'm sorry. So before I go to Tanya Yidach, there's a Taisis here. So Taisis brings the Gemara in Yuma, Daf Amud Beis, that after Shimon HaTzadik, the Kohen, was nifter, so even in the Beis Hamikdash, they stopped using Shem Hashem. The Gemara over there says how different things stopped happening, different nisim in the Beis Hamikdash. Once he was nifter, they realized that's it, it's over. Says the Gemara, Tanya Yidach, Koyse Varcho is B'nai Yisrael, Eliahu B'nai Yisrael. Gerim Noshim Avadim Shuchar Menai. How do I know? So that's another, okay, we're not going to go back to the chart, but another halacha, that the Kohanim do it also. Let's say it's a shul full of gerim. Not just places, just gerim. Should they duchen? Yes. Avadim? Yeah. You do it for women as well. Tamad loymar emor lahem lekulu. It seems like it's a yitur emor lahem for everybody. Tanya yidach koisevarchu ponim keneged ponim. It is face to face. Atoimer ponim. No, ponim keneged ponim means the Kohen. I'm a Kohen, yeah? I'm facing this way. The Yisrael has to be face to face to me. His face has to face my face. Atoimer ponim keneged ponim. Oyenoi ela ponim keneged oiref. Maybe I face this way and they face in the same direction as me. In other words, their face is towards that wall. Hillel, come here a second. I want to show you something. In America, especially in America, the fathers, they take the talus and they put it over the kids. So, according to Dr. Factor, they shouldn't blind themselves, which is wrong. According to Leiby, Heschadas. So you want to show the kids, look, in the Beis Hamikdash, if you looked at the Kohen, you could blind yourself. If you look in the Shekhinah, I'm putting a talus over me. So I'm thinking to myself, there's a problem according to this Gemara. Why? Here, come here, Hillel. I don't want to take a kid. It's not so. So let's say I'm facing the Kohanim, right? Here, come. So you're under my talus. You're my child. So a lot of times they go like this. Yeah, like this. If it's like this, it's perfect. We're both facing the Kohen. But I've seen a lot of times you take a little child, you take the 3-year-old, put him on your shoulder, and he's facing that way. It's no good. Yeah, come. Yeah, so now I'm saying people should be makbid. If you put your kid under the talus, make sure that you're facing the Kohen. Your head has to be facing the Kohen. If your back is facing the Kohen, it's a problem.
Is there a thing? Yeah.
I don't know where all these menachem come from.
Yeah,
I don't know. Putting hands, what? I didn't see anything mentioned like that, and I try to go through all the halachas. There's a lot of halachas, and Kuf Chof Ches, I think it is. I didn't see it.
I do know that because it's like
It's a simon? It's a very big simon. It's a very long simon, has like 40, 50, 45 things. I went over it quickly, plus all the dirshu stuff. Okay. Your minig. I never had that. My father never put his hand on me. Also the talus thing. Some Americans are very into it. Okay. It's like you're talking to your friend. Now, some fascinating halachas here. Rav Moshe Feinstein says in one place, in another place he says a little different, but in one place Rav Moshe says that if, hold on, we're going to see this over, I think we're going to get into it a little bit more, but maybe it's in the sugya later, but okay, I'm here, I remembered it, I got to say it. It's panim upon him, and that's tomorrow's sugya really, but okay, so you have to be in front of the kohen, face to face with the kohen. What if you're on the side or a little bit back, behind the kohen? Not good.
As long as you're a little bit in front of him.
Yeah, as long as you're, but I'm saying if you're behind the kohen, that's what I said, a little bit behind the kohen, it doesn't work. So, you have to be in front of the kohen. So says Rav Moshe Feinstein, I've seen this with my own eyes, even in this show. A guy, a big tzad that gets up here, davens the 20 minutes from right? He's standing over there in the corner. Okay? The kohen is over here. So now he's behind the kohen. Says Rav Moshe Feinstein, in middle of Shemona Esrei, walk back so you're in front of the kohen. Another place he says a little different. He says, in another place he says, make sure you don't dive in a Shemona Esrei that you will be in middle of Birkas Kahanim during Shemona Esrei, he says. That's going to get a little to you, no? It's a problem. So he talks about that. It's not a problem because he's not lahaches this, and then they do say the chazan should try not to be behind the kohanim if he can. Okay, it is an issue. That's part of the thing. Should always. That's why if you notice in these tables, the people over here in this table usually move back to be in front of a kohen. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, if the kohen stands over there, it's better for the chazan. Yeah, of course. Yeah. What kohen? Donnie. Donnie always stands over here. When it comes to our men, he'll stand over there. Okay. Tanya idach, another halacha. Kaisavarchu. B'kol ram. You should make sure that you're loud. You know what? Another halacha that I think some younger people maybe get confused. It says that you shouldn't be louder than the kohen. So a lot of people go, they whisper. That's not the halacha. The halacha is you shouldn't be louder. You could be with the same volume as the kohen. That's fine. You don't have to be too low. Like, don't overdo it. That the kohanim don't hear. We had a situation a few weeks ago that the kohen, when we did have a kohen, the kohen didn't hear the chazan and he didn't go. and I think I had to scream out or something. Yishmerecha. Oh, Yishmerecha. Whatever. So it's okay. But the kohen has to be Kol Ram. Again, Kol Ram doesn't mean mishuga, screaming on top of your lungs. It means a nice volume. Oh yeah, no, belachash. Maybe you should say it. It means not belachash. Maybe you should whisper it. Like a person who's speaking to his friend. Now, another interesting halacha I saw is, especially in America, after Birkas Kehanim, everybody's so excited. What do they do? Shkoyach, Shkoyach, Shkoyach. So the Mishabura says that the Kehanim should be very careful not to leave the podium until after Kaddish, because they're going to be machshel people to talk in the middle of Kaddish. The importance of not talking in the middle of Kaddish. People think, say Shkoyach to me. You're supposed to be polite. So what if it's in the middle of Kaddish? What are you shaking your head? It's annoying. Anyway, so in order not to be machshel, if you're a kohen, you stay up there very long until after Kaddish, then you come down. In Eretz Yisrael, it's not such a big problem. What? They do? In regular places. But you have the Balabadish places, they don't know.
Let's put it in my place. That could be
Baruchtia.
Yeah, no, it's brought down by Hartzvi.
That what? They shouldn't say Baruchtia?
Yeah, it could be
a Baltaisif on what?
On the bracha, just because of Baruch, not more. You're limited in the bracha.
It's a continuation of the bracha, you're saying. Yeah. Very interesting. Wow. Rabbi Kessler, right? Kramer. Okay. It's good enough for me. I got a K there. Most people, I don't get any letter. Okay, I got one letter. Wow. See here? No. He's saying, very good. Rabbi Kramer is saying that he saw in a sefer. What sefer? The Hartzvi. Says, well, you're a kohen? I don't remember you being a kohen, though. Okay, sorry. But you hear this? A beautiful thing, he said. You knew about this? Says that a kohen should not answer Baruch Tia. When they say Shkoyach, don't say Baruch Tia, because Baruch Tia could be an addition to the bracha that he already said, Yivrach Hashem Yishmerecha in Koyti, and that's Bal Taisef. Unbelievable. Huh? Okay. Right. This guy's just a bracha. Hey, thank you, whatever. Okay. Tanya, because of what we said already. Omar Abaye. Just as a side note, I don't even know where to put all this stuff in, but we know that because in America, or Chutz La'aretz, I should say, England also, there's no Birkas Kehanim usually, only by Sfardim. So Rav Shleimah, when he went to America, he made sure he down by the Sfardim, and he had Sfardim come to him. He always had Birkas Kehanim. But there are people I saw that says, what? You want to quiet? He hid. That's right. They didn't even know who he was. Okay, whatever. So there are those, I saw somewhere, I forgot where and what, but basically he would pay, maybe it's brought down, I don't remember, something interesting that you pay a kohen in Eretz Yisrael to have you in mind. Such a musag. You heard that? New business. In the next Ami magazine coming to you, I'll have a kohen, rent a kohen, exactly. Pay X amount of money, I'll have you in mind. No, why not? It says it's brought down. Amar Abaye, and the Meiser goes to MDY. Amar Abaye Naktinon L'Shnayim. You said you wanted to make money for coming here, and I just hooked you up. Naktinon L'Shnayim Koyri Koyhanim. Okay. Says Abaye that when you have two people, you say Koyhanim. Gary, this one is for you. Where's Gary? He left? What's Pshat? When you're the Chazan, you scream Koyhanim, but you're the Chazan. Oh, Mr. Brewer says it. Ashkenaz doesn't do it, Chassid do it. You Chassid? But you can't be a chassid in an Ashkenaz place. You're just scared, because what happens is, Gary's the one that says Koyanim every day. He's nervous that somebody might chap it when he's up. Koyanim! All of a sudden he comes to chassid, nobody else should chap it. Okay, great. Huh? Only the Gabi should say, yeah, no, it's brought down in halacha that the guy that's in charge is Gabi. I could stand over here and say, I've never said Koyanim in my life. Never in my life. It's not a good thing. It's a chashivas to say it. I've never said it, even though I daven here every day. This is plenty of Koyanim. Naktin l'shnayim koyri koyanim, u'lechol deine koyri koyin, shenemar emor lohem l'shnayim. You know what? I might have lied. Maybe I did say Kohanim in America. I'm trying to think. I remember once I had to say Bercha because the guy was. I wonder if I said. Okay, if I did. Okay, I'm taking it back. Taking it back. Maybe I lied by mistake. You don't say if you only have one kohen. You don't say kohanim. Now Taisus brings you Yerushalmi here that according to we'll see in a second Rav Chizda shenemar mar lahem l'shnayim. So the Gemara says you need two in order to say kohanim. It's really on the first part, the Taisus, but here's Rav Chizda who says that you need a kohen to say kohanim. Or Yisrael, like Gary, should not say kohanim. That's Rav Chizda. But we don't paskin like Baruch Hashem Gary. We don't paskin like Rav Chizda, as we'll see on Amud Beis. But Taisus brings Yerushalmi in the name of Rav Chizda that when you have one kohen, you should say kohen. And we have multiple kohanim, you say kohanim. Okay, but we don't paskin like Rav Chizda. Shenemar mor lahem amira v'shalem daf lamed ches Amud Beis amir v'shalem tehei. Sponsored by Greg Haber for Bracha, Tzalcha, Parnaso, Bariôt for my entire family, Rav Eli, and everyone learning the Daf. Amen. Zogt the Gemara. That Rabbi says you need two kohanim in order to say kohanim. And we don't pass on Rav Chizda. You need a kohen to say kohanim, as Rosh Koil pointed out, or somebody pointed out. It should be a gabbai, usually somebody in charge of the tzibur, not stam a person. Okay, you go to some of these shuls and it's like a fight. Who's going to say kohanim? Like 6 people say kohanim. What? I once heard a Maisa where a guy pulled a shtick and he went over to like 30 people in the shul. He said, "Listen, my big's kind of sick." It was like a disaster. Okay, so I'm leaving today. I'm not going to be there. Please, yeah, exactly. When Gary's the chazan, that would be unbelievable. But you can't beat him. He does it so quick. Like before the moment, oh yeah, okay. Soon the lights are going to go off. You're going to see. Like, okay. Zok Gemara. Simen, Misava, there's 8 things here. Misava lebracha, duchem ba'avoida, kois, makir, nehena ba'agala. Begla. Egla rufa. Or Yeshua ben Levi. The night HaKadosh Baruch Hu misava lebrikas kehanim. How do we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yochel yearns, he has a taiva for brikas kehanim? Shenemar, v'samu eshmi al b'nei Yisrael v'ani avarchem. They, the Kohanim, will put my name on Klal Yisrael, and I'll bench Klal Yisrael. Look at Rashi here for a second. V'samu shmi, tala kosav ad-dover behen, liz bracha zu sima shmoi alamoy. He told the Kohanim to put the bracha. Le'yisa tzarech Yisrael elo tzarech makayim. It was for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not for Klal Yisrael. Says the Gemara, the kohen that gives the bracha, don't worry about it. You think that you're giving the bracha to Klal Yisrael and the Yisraelim have the bracha, not you, you'll get a bracha. And of course, not of course, but a kohen who doesn't do duchening, he doesn't get the bracha. It's told to Avram, though if you bench, if you say the blessing, you get a bracha. If a kohen doesn't go up to duchen, because duchen, by the way, there was a platform. Thank you. In the Beis Hamikdash, there was a platform. The kohanim went up to the platform, so that's why today they go up on top of by the Aron Kodesh of the steps. They go up. If he doesn't go up, it's kilu he's over 3 assays. B'shloisha asay koisavarchu and mor lahem v'samu shmi. Rav Omar, I hope I don't forget this halacha. I got to say this halacha. It's very important. Oh, we'll see it soon. Fine. Rav Omar choshim shema ben grusha ben chalutzu. No, because it became a big balagan. Over Shabbos, I didn't have my pen, and I'm learning all the halachas and seeing all these things and where to put it in. Okay. Rav Omar choshim shema ben grusha ben chalutzu. So he's over 3 assays. Rav says, if a guy doesn't want to go up there, we have to be choshish. He's a chalal. What's his problem? V'loi pligi. Here's a guy who goes up once in a while, so he's not a chalal. He's just over on 3 essays. They're not mechulik. A guy who never goes up and he's a kohen, we got to be chayshish. If he doesn't go up by ritzei, there's one time that he could go up. Ritzei. If he's not up there by the time ritzei is over, he can't do duchening. Shuveni oila. Shenema v'yisa arnis yodav eloham v'yivarchein. So nachama. He has to be, you'll see the Kohanim go up, like right when they say ritzei, and he has to be there before it's over. If he's not there, it's over. Huh? Yeah, right. So we're going to see in a second. Here comes the Gemara. It's not clear exactly. Maybe he already finished the avodah. The point is, he was up there doing the avodah of the Chadash Shlomim, and that's when Birkas Kohanim occurs. Well, wait a minute. Rabbi, even though the avodah was over, they went toward. They were Kohanim. They went and they did duchening afterwards. Does anybody remember where Rabbi and Rabbi Asi lived? Yeah, but where? Huh? No. I think, I didn't look it up, I think they lived in Tveria. Wasn't there a Gemara that they used to down between the Amudim? And I thought it was in Tveria. No? If nobody remembers it, maybe not. Rabbi Salki says Gemara, Rabbi Ami v'Rabasi mikora v'akri karayu. First, they were oiker raglaim. In other words, they started moving towards duchening, and that's enough. Mimta loyhaya matu hasim. But they didn't get there until afterwards. Okay, but they got, as long as you start moving towards duchening to the aron, then you're good. So in our case, Stama, a shaila, a guy in this base medrash, because the sink is in the back over there. So what happens if a guy by the avodah he goes towards the sink? Is he allowed to duchen?
Yes.
Why? Rabbi Schoenberg is a kohen. He says yes. Why? What? I think he can't duchen. I'm saying he can't duchen. He went in the wrong way. He's okas ragav and he went that way. Mask him or not mask him? Too bad. He went in the wrong direction. We don't know. Doesn't say that. Don't know. Maybe they washed before. Maybe they hold that you can wash. I don't know. It's a shiloh, the whole washing thing. Yeah, you're masking with me or not? Shab Sikon is masking to me. He goes that way, it's over. Now, some people make a trick. Some people, they'll go towards this way, and then they turn around that way. I don't know if that trick works or not. It doesn't seem like a good trick. But anyway, the point is, you have to be going towards the aron, and if you're going towards the aron, then you're okay. Yoka ragel.
The problem is people think Shemon Esrei is in the well, and the Kohen can't go all the way down. Or because the Shemon Esrei people are blocking it. That happens many times over here.
So you're right. What? Oh, before Shemishabur, that if you go towards the sink, not akir. Okay. But over here, I saw what you're saying, are you also on halacha, that you're not allowed to bother, walk next to people who are davening Shemona Esrei, but in this case, they could. For duchening, correct. Yeah. I hear. You saw, you know that right, no, so no, it's not a chiyuv to wash. It's a shaila if you can be soymach. No. It's a nidain if you can be soymach on the first natila that you did in the morning. Yeah. I hear. I don't know. We're not passing halachas, we're just saying things. He said, I'm just throwing this out what he's saying. I don't know where you saw it or not. He's saying that if you have to disturb people at Davening Shemona Esrei, especially in this base measure where there's a narrow gap between the tables, so people are still Davening Shemona Esrei, and you have to go wash your hands, you're going to knock them and disturb them. So he's saying it's better not to, la halacha, he saw it somewhere, it's better not to go wash your hands, better just go up and duchen without washing your hands because you already wash your hands in the morning.
Let's say you touch your.
You have to have a minus for duchening. Well, you're a kohen also? There's koyanim here. A lot of koyanim. Wow.
Let's say you touch your.
Come tomorrow night.
Rav Simcha cooked. Watched the sins before davening.
Anyway, just in case.
He did not go back before duchening to watch the sins.
I hear.
In the minhag brush.
What about
In the churva?
in the churva? He washed his hands, what, right before Shemoneh Esrei? Before davening.
And then he just stayed there.
Avi, you're a Levi. Is it a problem to go wash hands for the kohanim, even though you're going to miss half a Shemoneh Esrei? You're going to miss chazos shatz, let's say. Over here, the sink is inside of these measures. It's not a shayla, so I'll tell you the answer. The answer is
yes.
the what?
That you should still go
You
because
right. Correct. The answer is you don't have to worry about that. Yeah.
Nachman Seltzer was also a lady. He said there's two types of reveal. There's the singers and the schleppers. He said, I'll be your schlepper.
Why do I believe that story? Yeah, he just said Lashon Hara, Rav was Givaldic. At least it was juicy. Okay. Okay, you see this nafkamina of Akiris Raglayim going towards Avalakas Raglov Oila. If you're ready, even though you missed it, it's already after Avoida. Since you made that move towards the Aron, then you're allowed to duchen. Utnanami. So this, where Rabbi Isai, we're talking about a single kohen. And I don't know why kohanim, they daven for the Amud. They probably shouldn't, especially when they're the only kohen. I've seen it even here. You hear, Gary? You shouldn't give that kid, when he's by himself, the only kohen, you probably shouldn't make him be a chazan. Because of this Gemara here, it's very problematic. Because it says like this, in the Mishnah, it says in the Mishnah, if he knows how to go back, and he's not going to get confused, he'll do the whole duchani without getting confused, then, but he never made a move towards the Aron Kodesh, he's a chazan, how could he duchen? El denot purta. So I guess if you notice, those who know the halacha and they're down for the Amud, they give a little bit of a jump forwards. They move towards the wherever they stand, they can jump over here. Hachanami da'aka purta. Okay. So at the end of the day, the halacha, it seems like, I don't know for sure, that's what it seems like, and I spoke to Kain today and he told me, yes, that it's problematic for an individual Kain with no other Kain in the shul to down for the Amud. We have Sidurim, so all these halachas of getting confused don't really apply to us, because you can just turn around and go right back to the Siddur, and there's not a lot of confusion. Nevertheless, it's better not to. Okay, give somebody else to do it. The Radbaz, we pass like the Radbaz, because listen to this. This is fascinating. There's the Rishonim that hold that if you down for the Amud, you're a Kohen down for the Amud, you pick yourself up and you walk up the stairs on the Aron Kodesh and you duchen, and then you come back down. The middle Shemoneh Esrei. We passing like the Rabbaz that you don't. Huh? You ever saw this halacha? You know what I'm talking about? What? Yeah. If you're a kohen in middle Shemoneh Esrei, well, you shouldn't. According to Rav Moshe, be careful. Don't. Okay.
It makes sense. Like if you have to lafiach in the middle Shemoneh Esrei, you're supposed to walk Dalad Amos away from your makom.
Yeah.
So if you do that, you could.
Okay, right here. You'd say that a guy has to make a cheshbon and say, listen, I do a 6-minute Shemoneh Esrei. I start at 3 minutes in. I'm not going to get there. Don't start. I don't know what. What do you say? Yeah. So they just finish right there. Yeah. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Now we're jumping to another halacha. It's preferable that if you have 3 people at a meal, you should use a cup of wine to do zimun, and you should give it to the one who's a generous person. He gave bread to the poor. the person who's generous, he should be the one making the bracha the zimun. How do you know that birds recognize stingy people? Shenemar kichina mezoyra reshes beini kol baal konof. And I missed this one. This is very important over here. Okay, I guess I missed it where I was supposed to show it. Zeshmila Elam is Zichril Dar Dar is a pasuk that says, going back to Shem Hashem and Adnus, Zeshmila Elam. That's Yud Kei Vav Kei La'Elam. Zichri is a Zeicher, just a remembrance of my name, which is Adnus, the Dar Dar. In other words, for future generations, we use the Zeicher of the name, not the real name. We don't use Yud Kei Vav Kei, we use Zeicher. Over here, it says in the pasuk, it says. That's the end of the pasuk over here. Yeah? No, not the end of this pasuk. Okay, weiter. It's a geschmack. It's Motzei Shabbos stuff. We'll get to it soon. So Rashi explains that they would take bird feed or whatever, spread it out on their traps, and hope that the birds would come and eat. And then they would trap them. The bird recognizes that the guy that spread the food over there is stingy, so he won't even come. So you're wasting your time. You're stingy to begin with, and now you're just wasting your seeds over there. You're throwing out bird seeds so that they should come. They're not going to come. A bird recognizes it. There's a Gemara we had in Sanhedrin Kuf Ches that says that the kosher birds went up. They were in the teva. Where were the kosher birds? Anybody remember this? Interesting Gemara that the kosher birds were with Noach himself on the third floor. It says over there in Rashi something about that the birds have Havana. They understood. They had Anah, something. And I think it's based on this Gemara over here that birds understand between tzaddikim and not tzaddikim. They have a certain thing. Okay. If you have, no, it just reminds me in Lamaisa in Tifrach, I said this, but it's Neget over here. It seems like a bird knows what bread, what seeds to eat from. If it's a guy who's stingy, doesn't eat. The guy who's a little larger. I can tell you this, that when I learned in Tifrach, I was 10 years old in Kirtan over there, and the bread came once a week from Angel, and that's a whole controversy with Angel Bakery. You know what? It was Berman. So they had this little 3-wall thing without a roof right in front of the yeshiva G'dayla. And the guy, I know I did, and they threw all the bread in this room. And now you're in the middle of Tifrach in the desert. Birds came, it's free bread. There's no roof, no door. It was a 3-wall thing. Everybody would come grab bread. So the birds would hang out there. Yom V'layla, they'll just pick at the bread day and night. So if you're lucky enough, you get the top bread with a bunch of pokes. And the Vice from this Gemara that they were very generous. Because if they weren't generous, the birds wouldn't come there. And that we had to take the bread. I said this many times. This is today kids. They don't get pizza 4 times a week. No. It's a shvach yeshiva. We had to take our bread and saw off the top part with the birds, and the bird, once they were on it, they also did the tzrachim on the bread. Everything was good. Chop off the top part, and also it came toasted. It was because it sat out in the desert for 4 days. So it's hard like a rock, and it had the holes and the whole thing, and that's the bread we got to eat. It seems like we were in the lager or something. Like it's crazy, but we were in Eretz Yisrael, 40 years ago. Yeah. Huh? And I didn't have any trauma from it whatsoever. I'm a mamish normal today with all that. What? I had it with kutach, yeah. What?
Is that what bitches love your house? Because that is there.
I have no idea what that meant, but okay, yes, that's why. Okay, listen to this. If you go to Gary's house for Shabbos, you're over in a lav. Chas v'shalom. Okay, I eat there many times. If you go to a stingy person's house, you're over in a lav. Could you just put on the thing? You're gonna fire this guy. You don't see the screen, yeah. Okay. Ki kemoy shar benavshay kenu a chodesh say yoy melach. Oh, v'liboy balimach. Finally, here we go. V'liboy balimach. His heart is not with you. Don't eat from him. Menachem Toporowitz. You hear this? The guy's stingy. You shouldn't eat in his house. Yoyver averes. Al tilcham v'al tisov tulab. Mar b'shum levi. En egla rufa ba el b'shvil tzori ayin. Egla rufa, here's Givaldik picture. He changed it up. Givaldik. Egla rufa. He left the psachim chavav in there that he could have taken out. Huh?
You should put this picture in the shop window.
Ah, okay. With the MDY logo, then fine. Egla rufa. A person dies between two cities. They don't know which city is close. They measure. They say, Yadeinu lo shafchus adam v'neinu lo ro kaper la'amcha Yisrael. It's a whole procedure if they find a dead person. Why did this guy die? It's because it's because of the stingy people. And we have to see the continuation of the pasuk. We didn't even see. What does it mean? Also, the Chashuvei Adar are there. The big people of that city come and do it. What, you think they're murderers? We didn't notice this poor person. Had we noticed him, we would have fed him. It's not pshat that he came to us and we just let him go without any food. And we didn't let him go without accompanying him. Says Rashi over here, very interesting Rashi. I thought it was fascinating because right before I saw the sugya, I saw Yeshiva World News, and there's this story in Yeshiva World News. The guy was very hungry. He saw a guy with with food. He came to grab it. Because he's very hungry. Rabbi say, if you know anything about the news, right now in New York, like 2 days ago, this guy gets in a train and he said, I'm very hungry and I don't care about anybody. I'll kill you all. And I've been in jail before and I'll go to jail again. I don't care. I'll kill you. I need to eat. So there was a soldier there, grabbed him in a chokehold and just choked him, and the guy died. So now they want to say he maybe committed murder, maybe he didn't. It was, you didn't see it on the news? I was in New York. Check it out. I couldn't believe it. He was hungry. The guy was screaming, I'm hungry. But he's a criminal. He's a terrible guy to begin with. And he's threatening people's lives. He's going to kill people. He was mamish threatening this and that. So the guy said, we got to take care of it. Choked him out, but maybe he choked him out a little bit too long. Okay. It's the whole thing. Yeah. What do you think? It was the guy that did it, the guy that killed him was white. It was okay. Caucasian. He was white American. How long are we going for already? Gershon, no, seriously. No, from after the song. What?
Over an hour.
Really? There's going to be a problem. You know what? Should we just stop here? Let me just see. Okay, we'll stop here. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful Voch.